Welcome, everybody. My name is Tamara Leguia, and I'm a Senior Client and Trend Success Manager at WGSN. It is a great pleasure to be here today at Mito and to present to you one of our flagship reports from WGSN. We're going to investigate the future innovations for the year of 2026. Now, 2026 marks the year of redirection. Old ideas will be challenged. We will grow both stronger on a global and local level. However, people will recognize the need for urgent change in the way that we treat our societies, arrange our industries, and work with our environment. Polarization will also become much more imminent. However, new alliances and opportunities will arise, therefore, as well. And innovative technologies and forms of creativity will harness as agents of progress. So no matter what side of the aisle you sit on, we will all be redirecting our efforts to find collective solutions. Now, before we dive into the key macro drivers, I want to explain to you a little bit more around our methodology and how we investigate the 6 areas of innovation that stand for society, technology, environment, politics, industry, and creativity. You can see the STEPIC drivers are the key drivers that will shift business strategies. And the STEPIC Innovations, which we will explore more about today, are going to inform product innovation and the consumer demands. We also publish the Big Ideas reports that are divided into the key strategies that you can apply into your industry, whether this is fashion, interiors, beauty, food and drink, consumer tech, or sports and outdoors. So let's kick us off with our first STEPIC pillar, society. The 2 overarching strategies for society are old answers to new questions and life stage design. Now in 2026, ancestral and old age customs and methods will be applied to modern challenges as global interest to alternative knowledge system is growing. You can give age-old designs new practices and relevance. Combine modern science with ancient insights to take a holistic approach within your product development, combining both influences from traditional ancient wisdoms, updating it with a modern twist to be more contemporary. It'll also be important to design for natural cycles, meaning closing the loop, trying to minimize waste. And the 4th strategy, which is exploring bioregional materials, alternative components and resources, whether these are used through AI influences or generated, or even natural resources that are not scarce, are becoming more important as we go through this polycrisis era. Now, when it comes to life stage design, age-related stereotypes are no longer relevant, and these are dismantled through chrononormativity, which is the expectation that we should follow a specific timeline. Like, for example, owning a house by the time we reach the year 30, or having children at a certain age as well. All of this is questioned as people will be choosing more varied forms of living. Brands will need to therefore produce tailored to the consumer's specific needs product innovation and a new approach to intergenerational targeting, something that we've been tracking as age-agnostic behavior. Numbers are no longer relevant. It's our mindset, it's our needs, and it's the demand, which can have cross-generational influences as well. So it will be really important to shake up your market research in terms of the personas that you're targeting. Follow inclusive design principles of co-designing by creating with the consumer and not for or against the consumer. Expand your ethnography, become more inclusive, and think about diversity as well. Listen and learn from a wide range of consumer personas to be able to set up those diverse product-related innovations according to their lifestyles. It will also be important to prioritize accessibility features and products. Best practice accessibility design follows the mantra to solve for one, extend to many. And last but not least, address the benefits of multi-gen living. Canada has the fastest growing rate of multi-generational household living, where multi-generations or people from varied generations live together under one roof. This has been accelerated by the pandemic, and it is influencing across all regions. Next up, we have the STEPIC pillar technology. Now here the overarching strategies are human-tech symbiosis and AI for good. The symbiotic relationship between humans and technology will continue to evolve. Technologies like AI and mixed reality will enhance human capabilities for efficiency, while machines will develop more advanced emotional cognition to better understand humans. So it'll be essential to humanize tech, help predict your user experience with effective computing, systems that can ultimately recognize, process, and also interpret or even stimulate emotions. This will all be super fundamental to really boost the intuitive human-machine communication strategy, while also establishing meaningful connections that strengthen your user experience. It'll also be fundamental to empower human imagination. 2025 marks the year of strategic imagination, and it won't stop. Tap into the desire for fun, inclusive, and playful ways to create unique digital experience or even products. Automate the tasks for efficiency as well, and co-create with tech as an assistant. Explore how technology can be an effective collaborator, both offering a fresh perspective and possibility in the creation of all products and services. Now, let's look at AI for good. We see that AI is only accelerating and integrated into our daily lives. It will advance with a positive change in relation to societal, environmental, industrial, and even governmental challenges. All of this will impact consumers' lives, including their social biases, the climate emergency, or even the supply chain inefficiencies. So it'll be imperative to really create trust and transparency through the whole design development process. Address the social biases as well, be diverse and inclusive, and optimize your inventory for the consumer demand. Stay competitive by using AI to your advantage through automating supply chain management. These systems have the ability to analyze data sets and to identify the trends and predictions for future consumer demands. This will all enable you to have a cost-effective saving strategy and improve efficiency to minimize waste. And lastly, be conscious of AI's environmental impact as well. Next up, we have environment. The two overarching strategies for environment are bioindustrial revolution and fluid ecologies. Now, with AI and synthetic biology becoming increasingly relevant, new post-naturals are going to reshape your product design, making industries more efficient and transforming your resource analysis. Biomaterials are forecasted to have an economic impact for up to 4 trillion euros up in the next 20 years. So it'll be important to time to scale, whether this is through biomaterials being developed significantly over the past decades. We can see how innovative brands will look to commit to long-term design principles or even partnerships cross-industry. It'll also be important to biologize your personal mindset or your brand's mission and explore the post-natural aesthetics influenced by the digitization. And lastly, very importantly, to invest in education and storytelling. To build trust and acceptance, it'll be important to take time to not only translate the science behind your product innovation, but also be very clear, accurate, and engaging. For fluid ecologies, we are seeing, again, the recognition of the diversity of nature that we have available. Inspire it through your product design and services that are designed with a planet-first mindset rather than a people-first mindset. This will help you to build resilience in the face of the complex climate emergency we're going through. So it'll be fundamental to move beyond monoculture, meaning supporting biodiversity by working with a wider range of plants, crops, materials, and even ingredients. Being aware of the natural ecosystem in your product development and even to support your supply chain. Design with a multi-species mindset and participate in the rituals that are immersed in people or nature. Lastly, factor in the rising nocturnal living lifestyle and the services that come with it. Shifting weather patterns are caused by climate change already, and this will impact how we live, leading people to move their activities to later hours throughout the day, as well as experiencing seasonality in a much more different way. An example in here could include to create glasses that have a protective element through the color choices when consumers are doing their activities outside in the evening. Now, for politics, the two overarching strategies are fresh perspectives and rebellious resistance. For the fresh perspectives, we are seeing and tracking the migratory patterns emerging again due to the factors of climate change, but also conflict displacement, where brands are going to find opportunities to design for the emerging consumer needs. Embrace strategic partnerships with community organizations. Foster connection and a sense of belonging by getting involved in local organizations, using your brand's USP to fill the gap needed for the social impact. You can also add reassuring touch points through your narrative and be mindful not to displace local businesses. Be transparent behind your collaborations and commit to the economic integration of refugees. Now, in 2026, more people will be combining activism with direct action as they react to the financial hardship and rising income inequalities. Recognize sources of frustration. Be aware of the consumer's sentiments and take survey results or even feedback on board, responding to the major issues that are impacting consumers. Be open around strategies within your pricing and sourcing models. Back up your brand values with tangible actions. Purpose-led brands are making a powerful point by opting out of systems that don't align with their values and explaining these to customers as to why you're leaving them behind. A great example are brands that are opting out of discount weeks like Cyber Weekend or Black Friday. Facilitate community creativity. We've been tracking the co-creative aspect of designing with your target audience since 2018, as well as the care economy to foster a sense of belonging for your consumers. And lastly, design for hacking and adaptation. As we move into this polycrisis and emergency, we know consumers are always thinking around the cost per wear behind product innovation. Is it multifunctional? Is it durable? Is it adaptable to my lifestyles? Next up, we have the pillar industry, where the two overarching strategies are long-term lifespan and the design to disappear. Businesses will have to put ethics over aesthetics and design products on a long-term time frame that accounts for use, reuse as societies and governments push for businesses to become more responsible for their waste, pollution, and lifetime product emissions. So it'll be fundamental to factor in the repair and resale business models, as circular economies are only growing and expanding. Evolve your supply chain work in reverse by including repair to prepare for the legislations, but also increasing consumer demand. Design spaces to be climate resilient and retrofit ready. Evaluate the materials and even resources for health risks and prolong your product lifespan. For design to disappear, this is a really interesting one, as we're increasingly seeing how consumers are moving away from single-use products or packaging and heading towards strategies that are more emerging around innovations that will ultimately enable you to redesign the products to leave no trace behind at the end of their life. So product priorities will take two routes. While some will be designed to last, others will be created to purposely disappear after its use. It'll be very important to be specific around your messaging. Consumers are increasingly sustainability iterate, and they are going to also research the brand's greenwashing or even need to speak up in precise terminology around what your products are made of. Invest in design to disassembly, which will ultimately enable consumers with disabilities or even younger consumers to use it in a much more playful manner. Make products disposable easily and reward the participation of consumers for it as well. Allow them to again co-create or be a part of your brand as a key stakeholder. And scope out the potential for multi-use products. Develop products that not only have multiple end uses, but are efficient enough to remove the need for other items, in line with the overarching shift of buying less but better, or quality over quantity. And lastly, we're going to look at the pillar creativity and culture, one that really differentiates WGSN from the rest. Here we are looking at the overarching strategies for multi-sensory surfaces and the glimmers. Now in 2026, products will build on emerging knowledge and interests in the power of the senses, and sensory level will become even more customizable. Bring digital experiences to life, as brands are going to start using their scent, sound, taste to create those digitally sensory experiences. Virtual worlds will become much more realistic. Design the sensory products that can be mixed and adjusted accordingly. In order to be customizable, offer high and low sensory goods on demand. Support the sensory science by also creating cross-industry collaborations, and investigate tactility as therapy. We are seeing and tracking increasingly consumers longing for products that are or that enable them to have a holistic benefit, whether this is physically or mentally as well. And lastly, the glimmers. Glimmers are micro moments of joy, contentment, and surprise. The opposite of triggers by providing much needed pleasure amid the current polycrisis era. Businesses will have a rising opportunity to intentionally design products that uplift our moods. Think about it as color psychology, designed for disassembly, and just enabling us to feel more optimistic about our current state. So facilitate in real life serendipity. Many glimmers revolve around the delight of unexpected moments of joy. Brand activations can add unanticipated value to the experience by injecting a little bit of humor or calmness. Celebrate the major minor stones, which is the difference between milestones. Think about it, you're going for a walk outside in nature when the sun is shining and wearing your rose-tinted sunglasses. Support guilt-free joy and stay true to your brand's values. Define the feelings, the moments, and moods that you and your customer value and want to highlight to celebrate through your design process or even service and experience around those. Thank you very much for your time today. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. For any questions, feel free to drop me an email.